right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, where you can call us, and all you have to do is call the number 412-575-2600. You can hit us up on Twitter also at KDPomp, at Chris Mueller PGH. Chris is up at 93.7 The Fan. We broadcast this at KDKA Plus and also some nights, including this night, on 93.7 The Fan. And the talk of the day, talk of the last week, has been the Pirates, Chris. 6 in a row. They did it in historic fashion. Pitching, once again, has been tremendous. It's been pretty tremendous all season long, but the hitting has come to life. So it's 6 in a row. They have a long way to go, and I do not believe they're going to be able to overcome all of the teams ahead of them. A lot of people are getting caught up in this, saying they have a shot. I think it's too big of a hole they dug. What do you think of this 6-game swing? Is it an aberration? Is it just something that happens with every Major League Baseball team, or is it something that they can actually build on and put together even more after this?
I mean, I think there's a couple things that you can look at and say, okay, these are positive signs for the future. Horwitz is somebody that they're, I think, counting on to be here for a while. He looks like he's starting to round into some form, and he's flashing the leather at first base, which is nice to see. I think his bat is coming around. I think Nick Gonzalez still looks like a solid, everyday major leaguer with, I would say, an above-average bat. Not a great bat, but an above-average bat for second base. So I think those are two signs that are positive. Their pitching's been very good most of the year. It's been exceptional lately. O'Neal Cruz moving down to 5th in the lineup seems to have sparked a couple of things for other guys. But the rest of it is like when Tommy Pham's hitting the cover off the ball, he's not going to be here in a month, right? You're right to say that they have too many teams, to climb over. So I think it's, look at a couple of the guys who figure to be part of a hopeful contender in a year or two for this team, and they're playing better, and that's good. But otherwise, you said it best. This is a 6-game run, and albeit a historic one for how badly they've bludgeoned their opponents. But this is the kind of run that most teams go on at least once in a 162-game season.
But, you know, people are going to run with this, and even people who follow this game closely, like Bob Nightingale, he put this on Twitter today. Pirates interim manager Don Kelly has put himself smack dab in the National League Manager of the Year race after just 2 months on the job. They were 26 or 22, 12 and 26 with Shelton, and since then 26 and 24. My take on that is just it's too soon to make that kind of declaration. It's only 50 games. There's still a lot more to go. Certainly, if this continues and they put together some sort of run here, much like Colorado Rockies did with Clint Hurdle back in the day when they got hot at the right time of the year, maybe then, but I think it's a little too premature to do that, although he's done a hell of a job.
Well, Bob, I mean, if we go right back to the start before this 6-game winning streak got going, he was 20 and 24 in 44 games, and the team was still coming off of some desultory losses. So, yes, this is a terrific streak where they've more than cut their run differential in half from, I think, minus 70 down to something like minus, 21, 22, something like that. I mean, they look more competitive now, but I would just pump the brakes. You know, people are running with this. Can Don Kelly win Manager of the Year? Yeah. I mean, if this team finishes with 79, 80, 81 wins and he's 12 or 13 games or whatever it would be over 500 in his tenure, it's going to be hard to ignore given how bad this team was. But he might be third in his own division right now in the running. Terry Francona's got the Reds 3 games over. Pat Murphy in Milwaukee has a team that wasn't supposed to be good, I think 10 games over 500. So it's a nice story. It looks good for Don Kelly, no doubt. But, again, I think we've got to use exercise a little caution here, pump the brakes a bit here.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's good to be on the winning end of this stuff. But I think a lot of it is much ado about nothing. Unless they win 6, 7 more. You get to 13, 14 games in a row. Okay, then you're creeping up on 500. You're probably within 5 games or so of a wild card spot. Then we can talk.
Yeah, and they're going to have to do exactly that. But typically when you follow a streak like this, the Marlins have won 9 in a row or something like that. And normally it goes the other way a little bit. You don't continue this sort of surge. When we come back, though, Chris, I want to ask you about Ben Cherington. And has this changed your mind about the future of the Pirate general manager, especially with the trade deadline coming up and what they need to do, what they should do at that trade deadline? Call us at 412-575-2600. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We do it 7 nights a week here on KDKA Plus on TV, 93.7 The Fan on the radio. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our Xfinity Tweet of the Night from OptaStats. The Pirates have outscored their opponents 43-4 last 6 games. We've talked a lot about that. That's the most runs scored over a 6-game span while allowing fewer than 5 runs in MLB history. The previous most allowing so few was by the Cincinnati Outlaw Reds in 1884. That was 42. I mean, it's a historic streak. There's no doubt about it. It's led to this sort of stuff on Twitter as we go to the Twitter mailbag. Once again, it's at KD Pomp or at Chris Mueller PGH. Eddie says, plan the parade. Tim McIntyre says, what the hell is happening? Well, it's a streak. It's it's not unlike any other season, quite frankly. I can probably go back, Chris, over the last several years, even when they've had bad records and bad teams, that they won 5 or 6 in a row. I remember when they swept the LA Dodgers out west, and people were wondering about that. It happens over 162, doesn't it?
It does. I wonder what it was like when those Cincinnati Outlaw Reds did that. I wish I could call up Ron Cook real quick and find out what it was like covering that run by the Outlaw Reds in 1884. Oh, you wouldn't believe these guys. They just continue to pummel the opposition here. Louisville stands no chance. But no, I mean, you want to know the thing that seems so aberrant because it is about this run by the Pirates? When you score that many runs, when you're that dominant, like I know this game, last night was close, 1-0. This game was close until it was late, and then the Pirates got a nice comfy margin. But other than that, the other 4 games, it's weird to see a team that is so inept offensively, or has been for the entirety of the season, not just win, but just destroy a playoff team in the Mets and a team that might be a playoff team in the Cardinals. That's what's weird about it, is seeing this punchless offense come to life so spectacularly for so many games in a row. Also,
the Phillies, they swept them here in Pittsburgh as well. I want to get to Ben Cherington in a minute, but I want to get to the lines first because we have a lot of people on them. John in Ross Township is first, and you're our #1 Cochrane Go One Better caller of the night. What's up, John?
Bob, Chris, hey, it's great to see the Pirates doing so well with the bats and defense. My question to you guys is, and I've been watching this, the oven mitt. I don't like it. It extends, can extend out maybe 2 inches, and it could mean an out call at second base or a safe call. And I noticed Cruz doesn't even wear one. And I don't know if they're trying to speed up the game, but I disagree with it. I'll just see what you two have to say.
Well, I mean, in this day of replay, you can make that case that every little inch matters. And those oven mitts do look bigger than your hands, certainly. They're there to protect those guys, but at the same time, I don't know if it's good or bad if you're sliding over the base. Can you grip anything with the oven mitt, Chris?
I do think that's a good point you make there. It cuts both ways. If you overslide the base, then you can't, reach back with an oven mitt hand and hold on to the base. I guess caller doesn't like them. John doesn't like them. I would just say if your favorite player is wearing one and it might actually save them from jamming a finger or breaking a finger in an awkward slide, or if their hand hits the base wrong, I feel like that's worth the aggravation of not liking to see it. I mean, Starling Marte, when he played here, wore one religiously. I don't really care if it got him extra steals or what. I just was glad that he wasn't breaking fingers. Not that these guys should, right? Like, you should know how to slide. You hit the base, and you have your fingers pointed up so that they're not going to go jamming in there. But clearly it happens enough that somebody decided this was a necessary thing.
Jim in Peters Township joins us next. Hello, Jim. Welcome to the Sports Call. Go ahead.
Hi. My comment on the Pirates is this full. People are overlooking their defense, okay? When you have Khalifa at short, Hayes at third, Gonzalez second, and
Horwitz.
Horwitz at first.
Sammy Khalifa's back. I didn't know that, but go ahead.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Sammy Khalifa, this is incredible. I'm in the 1980s again.
But in Tommy Pham, now he got his contact lenses fixed out, and he's playing pretty good defensively. Through one thing that people are forgetting is their defense is winning games for them.
Yeah, it has, and today they saved a couple of runs. When you saw IKF go deep in the hole, get up and throw to Horwitz, who's very good over there. Obviously, they have to play that kind of baseball. They should have played it all season long. They had too many games where they didn't display that, which leads us to this question, Chris, about Ben Cherington, the GM. He's under fire, of course. It's 6 years of this rebuild, and they haven't shown much other than what we've seen here recently. So how do you look at this trade deadline? What do you think he has to do? He has pieces to trade. Certainly there are guys like Pham and IKF and those sort of people. But there are bigger names out there who could be had. But the question is, what does he get and how much does he need to get in return?
If he trades Mitch Keller, which, depending on who you talk to, is either more likely than not or less likely, which means it's probably a 50-50 proposition, he had better get a useful major league player in return. Like, somebody better be willing to give either a prospect that would be there otherwise and will be there immediately with the Pirates, or a guy that maybe actually is a major leaguer from a surplus that contending team has. If he trades any of the other guys, though, I really do think you're hoping for a top 5 guy in the system for some of these other players. Maybe Bednar, if he gets dealt, somebody that profiles as being a major leaguer by next year at the latest. He needs to do better than he's done in the big trades. Whenever he's had a bigger asset to unload, he has done a poor job of getting a return. His best trades are like trading away Rodolfo Castro, getting Bailey Falter, or trading away Luis Ortiz, and now Horwitz actually looks like that might be a good deal because he's bringing the glove. He looks like a professional hitter when he's up there. So he's had a bad track record, Bob, of making these big sell-off type of deals, and he's going to have to fix that. And just for the record, I know you wanted to talk about Ben Cherington. I don't think there should be anything he can do to save his job. Even if Don Kelly were to bring this team back from the abyss and get them near 500, I won't look at that as some validation of Ben Cherington. If anything, I would say, like, is Don Kelly practicing, like, black magic in the locker room? Is he, like, making a deal with the devil? Because this is still not, like, a roster that should be able to surmount that kind of hole that they dug themselves. And I think Ben Cherington's career track record, Bob, really quick, speaks for itself. There's 2 years in his career where he hasn't had a team that he's been running finish in last place. 1 year they finished second to last. The other year they won the World Series, and he's been eating off that 2013 title for a very long time.
Yes, he has. And again, this is 6 years into this, so I would tend to agree with what you're saying. But I also throw in Keller as somebody, or Gonzalez, who's really developing now. He's up here, his bat's lively. And then you see a guy like Connor Griffin down there, and what he's been able to do on a fast track. We may see him here next year. Back to the lines we go, and we have Neil in West Mifflin. Neil, go ahead, sir.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Chris. I listen to you almost nightly. You guys are good. I love it. But, Chris, I agree with what you said about the Pirates. Let's don't get too excited, because, I always say every good team has its bad streaks, and every bad team has its winning streaks.
Look at the Mets. They're 3-13 in their last 16. So, Chris, that goes both ways. And again, over 162, you're going to have those kind of things. But I think people, if they want to get excited, they should. I mean, if you want to go to a game and enjoy that, you picked 6 good games you could have gone to over this homestand, and now they go on the road, and they haven't played well on the road. So this will be the next test to see what they can do.
The only thing I'll say that would somewhat excuse Cherington or suggest that he made better moves than people thought, Horwitz was obviously hurt for a while, though they knew he was hurt when they got him. They knew he had this wrist issue that might require this surgery, so that doesn't speak too highly of Cherington. But if Horwitz ends up being really, really, really good the rest of the year, and he saved the game with a great defensive play and Davis with a great tag last night to keep that a 1-0 game in the 9th. If Horwitz looks great, and then Gonzalez, who gets hurt in the first game of the season, ends up being one of their most consistent and best offensive players the rest of the year, and O'Neal Cruz doesn't have another season-busting slump like he's sort of pulling himself out of, all right, you squint and say maybe he built a better team than we thought he built. But it's so hard to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Like you said, we're in year 6 of this. We shouldn't be talking about, did he really build an 80-win team and not a 71-win team? Come on, this is when you should be contending. This is when Paul Skeens should be anchoring a rotation that nobody wants to see in the postseason, but that they're going to see because the Pirates are 7 or 8 or 9 games over 500.
You see our KDKA.com Connect question of the night: should the Pirates trade Mitch Keller? And so far, the answers are heavily in favor of no, they should keep him. Let's go back to the lines. We have Kirk in Manor this time. What's up, Kirk? How are you?
How are you men doing tonight?
We're good.
I just wanted to say one thing. I know you guys are part of a union. I've worked in a union for 35 years, my entire life. Once you have a contract, should you not honor it? And I'm just asking you guys.
Are you asking this for T.J. Watt?
Exactly. Shouldn't he honor his contract and ride out what it's going?
Well, Kirk, to play devil's advocate here, let me play devil's advocate. So he should ride out his contract, all that. But the teams sign these contracts too and then are happy to cut guys loose when they determine that the player is no longer performing commensurate, in their opinion, by the way, with what they're making on that contract. So why shouldn't it cut both ways
Harris.
where if the player wants to renegotiate and the team's willing to, they come to an agreement?
And listen, Kirk, the other thing the Steelers can do if they want to play hardball here, and I don't think they want to get to that level, but the way this is potentially going, you may have to come down to this. If he's going to hold out, let's say, and not hold in training camp, and he's not there at all, you know, he still owes them a year, to your point. He can come in late in the season and qualify for that year, but if that happens, then they probably won't be happy with it, and then they could decide to franchise tag him, and which means he has to come back next year, and he won't be happy about that either. Before it ever gets to that, Chris, I still believe it's going to get done, and I don't know what the price tag is going to be. That's the big question. What will it be, and how soon does one of these three guys sign, whether it's him, Trey Hendrickson, or Micah Parsons? And if one of those signs first, how does it alter T.J. Watt's thinking even more?
Well, I don't think Hendrickson's ultimately in Watt or Parsons' league. I think if you're making the three best edge rushers in the league list, it's Garrett, Watt, and Parsons in some form or fashion, however somebody wants to put it up there. I wonder if Watt's playing the waiting game with Parsons because he wants him to sign and then set the new market, and then Watt will say, well, I want that. But I go back to that initial part of Kirk's call, this idea, honor your contract. The team doesn't do that very often. The team frequently, and this is not just the Steelers, every team does this. Hey, they're non-guaranteed deals. We reserve the right as your employer to say you're not worth this anymore. I wish more people, and Kirk's a union guy, he says, support the player here. And I would, by the way, I would trade T.J. Watt if I were the Steelers doing good business here. That's what I would do. I'd let somebody else pay him, but they renegotiate contracts with their biggest name players 1 year out. This is their policy. So I just don't understand why he's suddenly this ultra bad guy for wanting something that is in line with how they do business at the very least.
It's fair both ways, and the player gets a lot of money up front in guarantees, more than ever before. So that's what you get out of it. They get about the right to end it before you want it to end. So we'll see. It's going to be so far a staring game. We'll find out who blinks in the end. We got to take a break right now. We'll come back with more of your phone calls at 412-575-2600. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.